All right, let's talk about neurotechnology. Thanks to big names like Elon Musk's Neuralink, this entire field is about to get a whole lot of attention. And today, we're diving deep into a company called ONWARD Medical. We're going to uncover what I think is some seriously hidden value in a company that's truly pioneering a revolution in this space. So let's start with a really powerful question. Just imagine for a second, what if a person who couldn't move could one day control their own body again, just by thinking about it? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but this is the very question that's driving the incredible innovation we're about to unpack. So first things first, who exactly is ONWARD Medical? Let's get to know the people behind this amazing mission. At its core, ONWARD Medical is all about one thing: creating real, breakthrough therapies for people living with spinal cord injuries. You know, they're not just trying to manage the problem. They're aiming for actual restoration, which is a whole different ballgame. And make no mistake, this is not a niche problem. We're talking about an addressable market of over $17 billion. That number, it really tells you two things. There's a huge unmet medical need out there, and for a company with a real solution, the opportunity is just massive. Okay, section 2, the technology. Is it really a revolution? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of what makes ONWARD so special, because this is where they are truly carving out a space of their own. So ONWARD has this really smart three-pronged approach. It starts with an external platform, for improving things like hand strength. Then they've got an implanted platform for more complex internal stuff like blood pressure. And then the Holy Grail, a BCI enables platform that's all about restoring movement driven by thought. So what is this brain-computer interface, or BCI thing anyway? Well, in simple terms, it's technology that can read your brain signals and turn them into commands. Now, a lot of companies are using BCIs to, say, control a computer. But ONWARD is doing something totally different and way more profound, if you ask me. They're using it to command the human body itself. And this is what really sets them apart. Their CEO, Dave Marver, says it perfectly. They are the only ones using BCI this way. While everyone else is racing to connect brains to computers, ONWARD is laser-focused on reconnecting the brain to the body. That is a powerful, powerful differentiator. And you can bet they've protected this expertise. They've built up a massive intellectual property moat with over 150 patents. That's a huge barrier to entry for anyone who thinks they can just waltz in and copy them. Okay, section 3. With this game-changing tech and all this IP, how does ONWARD actually stack up in the market? Let's take a closer look. This is a huge deal. They recently got FDA approval for their ARC-X device. And that's not just some pat on the back. That's the official green light to start selling in the United States. It's a massive milestone for them. And they're not doing this alone in some basement. They have some serious heavy hitters in their corner. We're talking strategic investments and partnerships with absolute leaders like Ottobock, a global giant, and the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. That is a massive vote of confidence. And just listen to this endorsement. The chairman of Ottobock, who's now their biggest shareholder, doesn't just say they're interesting. He calls them a game changer and an investment in the future of medical technology. Wow, when a global leader says that, you really need to listen. All right, on to strategy and competition. This gets to a really critical question. How does ONWARD see its place in the world, and what's its long-term plan? So you've got all this great momentum, right? But the big question is, just how strong is their position really? How are they going to handle a market with giants like Medtronic roaming around? And this right here, this is where you find the real hidden gem in ONWARD's story. The CEO, who actually used to work at Medtronic, basically says, look, for a huge company, trying to build what we've built would take forever. So what's their likely move? They'd rather just open up their checkbook and try to buy them. And that's the bottom line. This is the strategic reality that reveals their hidden value. ONWARD's competitive edge is so sharp that they become a prime acquisition target. Now, the CEO is clear he doesn't want to sell, but the fact is, for a bigger company, buying this kind of innovation is often way easier than building it. So, what's next? Where does a company like ONWARD go from here? Let's take a quick peek at their long-term vision. Believe me, spinal cord injury is just the beginning. Just look at this pipeline. They're targeting conditions like stroke and Parkinson's. We're talking about millions of potential patients. Each one of these is a huge market on its own. It just shows you the incredible runway for growth they have ahead of them. So, let's wrap this up. What have we seen? ONWARD Medical has this incredible breakthrough BCI technology, a fortress of patents protecting it, and the backing of major industry partners. And on top of all that, they have a strategic position that basically screams acquisition target. As this whole neurotech space gets hotter and hotter, the real question isn't if this is the future, but if ONWARD is going to be one of the key companies that defines it. Thanks for tuning in.